show you how to quickly draw a straight line graph. Let's look at a very straightforward one. We're going to draw the graph of y equals 2x minus 3. And the two most important bits of information are the number that's added on or subtracted in this case at the end and the number in front of x. This number here, the number that's added on or subtracted, is called the y-intercept. Now what that means is it means whereabouts it crosses the y-axis. So the first thing we do in drawing this graph is we're going to go to minus 3 and put a cross. Now the second most important number is the 1 that's in front of x. It's called the gradient. It tells you the steepness of it. In this instance, the graph we're quickly drawing has a steepness gradient of 2, which means when we go 1 to the right, we go up 2. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, and put my second cross. And the good news is about straight line graphs, you only need 2 points to accurately draw it. So if I join up those two, there you go, then label it y equals 2x minus 3. There I go. I've accurately plotted and drawn the graph of y equals 2x minus 3. Right, let's go through that again with a different one. So I'm just going to delete these. Hence, this video might just be a bit longer than normal or my preferred length of time. We're going to draw the graph of y equals minus 3x, add 5. Now, let's have a look. What's the number that's added on at the end? It's plus 5. So that's my starting point. I go to plus 5 on the y-axis and put a cross. Now, what's the gradient? Now, the gradient, the number in front of x, is 3, but it's got a minus in front. So the gradient's minus 3. So when I go 1 across to the right, I have to go down 3 to put my second cross. Then, as before, I join up. Didn't do a very good job there, did I? I join up the 2 points, that's a lot better, and label it y equals minus 3x add 5. Right, now, just get rid of all those things. We're going to draw one more, and this sometimes causes problems. It's because the order isn't right. Here you go. We're going to draw the graph of, I should prefer writing in black, y equals 4 add 2x. Now, it's the number that's added on. Now, even though generally speaking we have the number at the end, in this instance the number that's added on, the number without an x, is the better way I should have described it, is 4. So that's my starting point. On the y-axis I go to 4. What's the number and sign in front of x? Well, the number and sign in front of x is plus 2. So the gradient is plus 2. So when I go 1 to the right, I go up 2. And I join those up, as before, and label it as it appeared, y equals 4 plus 2x. Okay, now, I'm going to go through one more, just to get used to some of the ways that they can, just, I don't know, unnecessarily, in my opinion, make things a bit more complex. Here we go, look at this graph here. 7x minus 4 equals y. Well, they've changed the order completely. Instead of being y being, it's some expression equals y. That doesn't change things. Let's look to see the number that's added on, or subtracted in this case. And we'll also look at the number that's in front of x. It's quite a big number here. Now, the number without x that's added or subtracted is the y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So we go to minus 4. Now, the gradient, the number and sign, and there's a hidden plus sign there, isn't there? The gradient here is 7. So what I do is, when I go 1 to the right, I'm going to go up a massive 7. So I go 1 to the right, then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I join those up and label it 7x minus 4 equals y. Or you could have labelled it y equals 7x minus 4. Right, now the last two I want to look at, this is an introductory video, so I'm not going to go into changing the subject, where we don't have y as the subject. That'll be another video. Let's just get rid of all the stuff I don't need. Whoops. What about if there's no number added on? Here we go. Y equals, let's do a negative one. Y equals minus 2x. Where do I start? Well, when there's nothing added on, that means we're too lazy to write plus naught. So my starting point would be on the y-axis where it's 0, here at the origin. Now, what's the number in front of x? The number in front of x is, and sign, minus 2. So when you go 1 to the right, you go down 2. Join those up. And there you go. There's the graph of y equals minus 2x. Now, the very last one I want to look at in this introductory video is, what about if there's no number in front of x? Here you go. I'll give you an example. Y equals x minus 1. Right. Okay. Now, hopefully you've learned from some of the other videos that in maths we're lazy. When the number in front of x is 1, we don't bother writing it. So to make this a bit easier for us, we're going to put in the 1 that should be in front of x. And then let's go through quickly drawing this. What number doesn't contain x? The number that's added or subtracted is minus 1. So that's my starting point. What's the gradient? What's the number in front of x? Well, the gradient, the number in front of x is 1, or plus 1 if you will. So you go 1 to the right, up 1, there's your second cross, join them up. And there you go. There's the graph of y equals x minus 1. Quickly drawn and plotted. I think I could have done a better job. I think we just missed out on going through those points. Let's just change it slightly. Being a bit of a fusspot, but we should do it accurately if we can. Okay, there you go. Hopefully this will enable you to quickly draw straight line graphs. Thank you for listening.